Hi everyone, I'm Latimer. So, Last Epoch has been officially released. Everybody's having a great time playing it. And one of my favorite features in the game is the crafting system. The crafting system is actually very powerful and it can be a little intimidating to a beginner player. So, if you're new to the genre or just new to the game in general, today we're going to give you a simple breakdown of how the crafting system works and the items that you're dealing with. But before you get into that though, do me a favor, give it a quick like, give it a subscribe, hit that notification button, that way you never miss a video when I drop one. Let's get into it. All right, so the first thing we need to discuss is the item types that you're going to run into and you're going to see within the game. There are actually 7 different types of items. So the first one is going to be a common item. This is going to have no affixes attached to it. Okay. The second one will be a magic item. This is going to be blue and it'll have 1 or 2 affixes attached to it. Then the next is going to be the rare one, which is yellow, which has anywhere from 3 to 4 affixes attached to it. The next level up is going to be a unique. Now, the uniques have special stats or things attached to them, and they cannot be crafted on. These are typically orange. Okay. The following item, the next one is going to be green, and these are for set pieces. Set pieces are special because of the fact they require you to have 2 or 3 or 4 of the item. Typically, they come in sets of 2 or 4 to activate a special bonus, a special set of bonuses that you get when you have these items attached to it. So, for example, the set could include helm, bracers, and helm, bracers, and boots. So you need 2 out of the 3 in order to activate the first bonus, and then you add the third to activate the second bonus of the set. All right. Then the following one after that is going to be the Exalted, which is purple. Okay. Exalted items have 1 or more tier 6 or 7 affixes. The tiers for the affixes go up to tier 7. Okay. Tier 6 and 7 affixes cannot be created through crafting though. Okay. You can craft all the way up to tier 5, just so you know. The next item after that is going to be a legendary. Legendary items can only be crafted and created in the Eternity Cache. Okay, so you can't find them, but they can only be created in there. Okay, so those are the 7 different item types you're going to see in the game. All right, so now that we understand the item types, now you need to understand what you're looking at when you do pick up an item. Items are broken down into 3 areas of information. So the first area is going to be the implicits. These are always located at the top of the item right here. And this is going to include your armor, weapon damage, stuff like that, and the implicits specific to that item. For example, the boots that are on the screen here will always have a cold resistance attached to it. And then as well as the forging potential. Forging potential is important. We'll get to that next. Now, so those are the implicits. That will always be at the top of the item. The next 2 areas are going to be your prefixes and suffixes. These are all located in the affixes box. All right. So those are broken down into 2 categories. The top 2 are your prefixes. The bottom 2 are your suffixes. So starting with the prefixes right here, we have 16 increased movement speed and intelligence. These are typically offensive. Okay. So whether it be plus damage, plus movement speed, plus primary stat. Okay. Those are prefixes. Moving down into the bottom 2 are typically defensive. For example, critical strike avoidance, elemental resistances. So you'll find plus armor, plus resistances in the suffixes. So now that we know the item types and what the item consists of, we're almost ready to craft. But we need to know 2 things before we can craft an item. 1, if we have a space to craft it, and 2, if we have potential to craft it. So as I mentioned earlier, forging potential. This is actually really important, okay? So under the implicits, you will find forging potential. For example, this chest piece has 24 forging potential. Forging potential is what fuels you being able to craft an item, okay? So without forging potential, you can't craft anything, all right? So to open the forge, you hit F on your keyboard. That's the default key. You open your forge, okay? You see on the ground here, I have several items. They have dots in front and behind the item, okay? And if you look at this staff I have on the screen, this blue staff here, it has 1 item in the affixes, 61% increased cold damage. If I drop this item on the ground, what you're going to see is you're going to see 1 dot show up on the left side of the item, okay? Right here. So the dots represent the prefixes and the suffixes, okay? you need to have an open slot in order to craft. When I put the staff in, you're going to see slots open. All right. So I have one suffix spot or one prefix spot, and then I have two suffix spots because I haven't used anything yet. All right. So to craft an item, all we need to do is we need to click on the space that has an open slot, and then we need to select the gem. So on the left side is your prefixes, and your right side is your suffixes. So I can select for my prefix gems, and say we're going to take melee void damage for some reason. We're going to take melee void damage. So we'll add that in there. All right. So that's going to cost me anywhere between 1 to 14 forging potential. Okay. I also have a lot of these. They're called Glyphs of Hope, which potentially will cost me no forging potential. It's 25% chance. Okay. You find those quite often. Use them when you need them. So we're going to add the affix. All right. So that cost me 5 forging potential. And now I've got melee void damage on this staff. Okay. So now I have 2 prefixes. So now if we go over to the other side, remember, suffixes are defensive. So as you're going through the list, you can see clearly prefixes are offensive. Suffixes are going to be chance shock on hit, chance to ignite on hit, but primarily it's going to be increased stun chance, health on kill. It's going to be resistances. On this particular case, it's going to be like weapon-oriented items. So if I was to do this on an armor piece, you would have the options for resistances and stuff like that. Right? So anyhow, we're going to pick an item here. We're going to go freeze rate multiplier. We're going to add that one. Okay. Boom. Now, all of a sudden, our item changed. Our item just upgraded into a rare. Okay. Because it now has 3 affixes attached to it. Okay. So rares can have 3 or 4. Magic items only have 1 or 2. Okay. Now, as you notice here on the left side, on the prefixes, there's this little arrow. What that's for is actually for upgrading an item. So just like crafting with shards, you can actually upgrade in order to give more of the specific stat. So for example, we got 7+7 melee void damage. If I click upgrade and I upgrade the affix, as long as I got the shards in my bank, I can just automatically upgrade it. And now I have 18 melee void damage. Okay. So that is your basic crafting. Okay. There are things that you can use with runes and glyphs. Okay. So some of the runes that you have are runes of shattering, and which I'm going to show you right now how to use that. Runes of shattering, what that does is it's going to break down the item, and it can return any one of these shards to you. Okay. In the amount of the level. So we're going to shatter it. And I got 1 cold damage shard and 2 melee void damage shards returned to me. Excuse me. Then we have Rune of Refinement, which re-rolls all the values of all affixes on the item. Okay. Then we are Rune of Removal, removes a random affix. It's not a specific affix. So if I use this, let's pick this item here. Okay. So if I use this, right here, it is going to randomly remove one of the affixes of those 3. Okay. Leaving it open for me. So there we go. It just took this off. And now, so I got the shard back for chance to ignite was added to my thing. And so now I can open that space like that. Now it's completely random though. So you don't have control of it. Then you got Rune of Discovery, which adds a random tier 1 affixes to all empty affix slots on the item. Okay. So it's completely random. So here, I'll show you what that looks like. See, just added all tier 1 slots for me. So you can instantly craft an item. Next up, we have Rune of Shaping, which re-rolls all the implicits on an item. Okay. So remember, the implicits are all the items at the top. Okay. This is not something you want to waste, and I'm not going to waste. So these are all the items at the top, the weapon damage or whatever the case may be. Now, a little thing to show you about the items. You can actually see what they could potentially become. If you hold Alt when you're looking at the item, as you now see, it actually shows me the ranges for each item. So, for example, on the staff, I got max damage. I got almost max spell damage. 1-to-1 minion spells. And then going down the list, it shows what tier the affixes are. So I got tier 5, tier 5, tier 6, tier 5, right? And it shows the range that they can possibly roll. Okay. Now, talking about the glyphs of hope, okay, or the glyphs in general are right here. So you just click on it and select which one you want to use. So the glyph of hope, I already covered that. Possible reduce or no forging cost. Glyph of chaos randomly changes the upgraded affix into a different one. Okay. So for example, say I don't like this. The chance, increased stun chance with melee attacks. Since I don't like that one, I want to change that. So we're going to pick this one right here. And we're going to put in the Glyph of Chaos. We're going to upgrade and re-roll it. So it's going to automatically upgrade it for me. And it's going to re-roll it to something I want. Or possibly want. So it increased stun chance for me. It's random. You don't get to pick. But it's chance. You never know if you're going to get lucky, right? Next up is your Glyph of Order, which prevents the roll of an affix within its range. Excuse me. Changing when it's upgraded. So I'm going to add that in there. So we got a tier 2 and 58% stun chance. We're going to upgrade. And like I said, it prevents the roll of an affix within its range changing when it's upgraded. Okay? So it can give you up to the max roll. Right? So if it was going to roll lower or higher, it won't. Upgrade to 99%. See? There we go. It's automatically increasing for me within its range. Now, the last one is the Glyph of Despair. Has a chance to seal an affix instead of upgrading it. The sealed affix is then moved to a special slot, and that slot becomes open for you to be able to craft with. Okay? This is not something you want to waste again. This is something that you want to hold on to. So I'm not going to use it, but that's exactly how that works. So that, guys and gals, is basically crafting in a nutshell. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, please give it a like and subscribe. Hit that notification button. That way you never miss a video. And until next time, guys, keep gaming. By the way, one more thing before I go real quick. All the materials in your thing, if you don't know about this yet, hit this button. And it'll transfer it all to your forge for you. All right, till next time, guys, keep gaming. Have a good day.